Okay, guys and girls, welcome back. Um, yes, so we are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. We are live on. Okay, we're not live on WhatsApp, but um, in any case, let's get onto it. So today, what I will be focused on is definitely we're looking at the functions, right? So specifically, we're going to be looking at uh, intercept and also turning points. Okay, so those two. So now, for now, we're looking at an intercept. Now the question is, what does it really mean by intercept? So intercept is more of where the graph cuts, right? So for example, I'm gonna say, let's say when you have Cartesian plane, right, where you have your x-axis and your y-axis, and there's a graph, straight line graph, let's call it f of x, right? And so what this really means is this is this is zero for both the axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. So when we say intercept, that means where this graph of fg intersect either x-axis or y-axis. Okay, so for example, if we say y-intercept, that just means that the graph touches the y-axis there. So by saying we want y-intercept, we're basically saying give us the x value and the y value at that point, right? And then same applies. This graph over here, when we say intercept, that means it's intersecting or cutting off this axis. So they both meet right here. And the by saying x axis, we just mean the x at that point, the coordinate of the x and y coordinate at that point, right? So, but again, one more thing very important to note is, look, when we say, so because this is zero, and that let's say maybe it's a 1, then maybe here we have a 2. So that means that the y, for the y-intercept, meaning where it intersects this, right, the value of okay, for the x-intercept, right? So when you're looking at the the x-intercept, which is where the graph is cutting x, then your y is 0. Well, because it could be 1 or 2, but it's right here. So wherever the x-axis and the f of x touch each other, your your y coordinate is 0. Okay, wherever the graph cuts off the y-intercept, which is here, right? I mean, this could be 1 or 2 or 3, and then -1 and whatever going there, but this is 0. So wherever this graph cuts the y-axis, your x will be 0. Okay, so just to be clear, what I mean is, when they say find the x-intercept, always make your y 0. Okay, because if it intercepts here, then y can't be here, but could rather be here, which is 0, right? So meaning here, where you have an intercept at x, this y is always 0, right? And then for the y-intercept, which is right here, your x is always 0. So this becomes 0. Therefore, you have to put your x as 0. Okay? That is very, very much important to note as we go. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, let's move on to the example. If you don't understand any of this, just always pause the video or just go back in time and just go slow as you as it fits you. Okay, right, sharp. So let's move on to example number 1. So example number 1, as you can see, right, you have yes, so for the example number 1, you have f of x is equals to x plus 4 squared minus 1. Okay, so what you want to do here is you're gonna put, so they're saying determine x and y-intercept. Okay, so let's start with the x-intercept. So remember again, if you're gonna do x-intercept, make your y 0. Okay, so to do that is we'll say y equals to 0 equals to this, which is x plus 4 squared minus 1, right? So therefore, what you need to do here, you just really have to determine the value of x when y is 0. Okay, so to do that, we need to expand this here, right, where you will have x plus 4, because it's squared, you can say x plus 4 into x plus 4 minus 1. And then we just simplify everything, where we have x squared, right, plus 4x plus 4x, then minus 1. And then looking at the like terms, we have x squared, like terms, plus 8 of x. So we missed this one here. So it's 4 times 4, which is 16. So it's 16 plus 16 minus 1. Okay, so we have that. Then we have plus 16 minus 1. Okay, therefore, you can easily say, write it in x squared plus 8 of x, obviously plus 15, because your 16 minus 1 is plus 15. And then you can factorize from there, right? So it will be x. We could either use 15 times 1 or 3 times 5. So obviously this one passes. So therefore we can have x plus 5 and x minus 3. Okay, so what that means is that's plus 3. So therefore we can confidently say x is either minus 5. Okay, let me just do it this way so that we can all understand. So what you do when you get here is you equate everything that's in the bracket to 0. Like for example, starting with this one, right, we can say x plus 5 equals to 0, and also do this one, and then say x plus 3, you equate it to 0 as well. Therefore your x is minus 5, or and, okay, your x is minus 3. That means your graph must be cutting x at either at -5 and also at -3. Okay, then now what's left is the y-intercept. So we have to do the y-intercept, right? Okay, so to do the y-intercept, remember, when you talk about y-intercept, you're saying y-intercept. Okay, that doesn't work for me, so let's go with this one. Yeah, so when you say y-intercept, you have to make x 0, right? And then bring this guy. You're gonna take this guy, bring it here, and replace x with a 0. So you have y equals to 0 plus 4 squared minus 1, which is 4 squared, because this is 0, is 16 minus 1. Therefore, your y-intercept is 15. Okay. So, yes. So just all of you just go through this, right? And then check your mistakes. Check if you understand everything. And then if you don't understand, just hit me up. Let me know if you're struggling with anything here. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is let's go to the second example, right? If you don't understand anything, pause the video, go back, check it by yourself, or hit me up. Talk to me on WhatsApp, talk to me on Facebook, even on YouTube if you like. Talk to me on Twitter, and then we'll solve it. Okay, I'll be able to help you. All right. So another thing. So let's do example number 2, which is kind of straightforward if you ask me, right? So how you ask? Look. So we still again determine x and y-intercept for this. What you want to do for this is, let's start with the x-intercept. Remember, when x-intercept just means exactly where the graph or your function cuts the x-intercept. So wherever it cuts the intercept, again, remember, your y must be 0. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this as 0, and then we can just easily rearrange this, right? So that we start with a term with the highest exponent. So we'll say x squared minus 8 of x plus 16, right? Therefore, from here we factorize, because it's more like really solving x, right? So we factorize by using okay, so we're gonna factorize for 16. What are the factors of 16? Times 1, 4 times 4. Yes, so 4 times 4 actually gets in, because if you add the 2, they'll give you 8. So that's good. So we'll put a 4 there and a 4 there, obviously because they are negative, and here it's positive. So that means both 4s are negative. And then again, well, this is just 1. So you have something like x minus 4 to the exponent. Okay, so you have x minus 4 into x minus 4. That will give you x minus 4 squared, right? So with that said, therefore, again, you need to take this and equate it to 0, right? Everything that's in the bracket, you equate it to 0. Therefore, you have x minus 4 equals to 0. And therefore, x is positive 4. That's our x-intercept. Basically, you can put it in coordinate form where you have 4 and 0. That's your intercept. That's your x-intercept. Okay. So now we need to do, let me just take this out. Now we are looking at the y-intercept. So remember, again, when you say y, what's going on? Okay, just a little technical issue. Okay, sharp. So when you say y-intercept, you obviously have to put your x to 0. Okay, so and then fetch this guy, and therefore we will have y equals to 16 minus 8 times 0 plus 0 squared. Obviously all this is 0, therefore your y-intercept is 16. If you want to put it in coordinate form, it will be your x is 0 and your y is 16. Okay. So yes. So I mean, if you look at this, obviously it tells you that so if you have your Cartesian plane, obviously this being x and this being y, that means it cuts off the y-intercept somewhere at plus 16, and it cuts off your y so somewhere here your x-intercept at like 4. Okay, so yeah, okay, so yeah, so just everyone just look at this. Like I said, we are live on all the platforms. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, we are live right now on Twitter and Instagram. And those who don't understand or who don't have data for these other ones, sorry, I'll post this later on WhatsApp so that everybody can have a look at it. If you're struggling with anything, just get back to me or pause the video, go back, play it as slow as you want in order to understand all the points I made. Okay, so for now, what time is it? 35. Okay, so for now, yeah, I think this is enough for now. So I'll come back in a few, and then so we can be able to do the turning point. So we'll just start off from here where we're doing turning points. Okay, so yeah.